Docked permanently in Long Beach, California, the Queen Mary is one of the world's most famous haunted locations. Once a grand ocean liner traversing the Atlantic, this retired vessel now serves as a hotel and tourist attraction, but many believe it is also home to restless spirits. With reports of ghostly apparitions, disembodied voices, and unexplained phenomena, the Queen Mary has earned its reputation as a paranormal hotspot. From tragic accidents to wartime horrors, the ship's dark past seems to linger within its steel walls. This article delves into the chilling history of the Queen Mary, its most haunted areas, and the spine-tingling encounters reported by guests and staff. The golden age of ocean travel, launched in 1936 by the Cunard White Star Line, the Queen Mary was a marvel of engineering and luxury. For over 3 decades, it carried wealthy passengers, celebrities, and dignitaries between Southampton and New York. During World War II, the ship was repurposed as a troop ship, earning the nickname the Grey Ghost due to its speed and stealth. After the war, it resumed civilian service before retiring in 1967 and relocating to Long Beach as a floating hotel and museum. Tragedies at sea. Despite its glamorous reputation, the Queen Mary witnessed several tragedies. A fatal collision, 1942. During the war, the ship accidentally rammed and sank HMS Curacoa, killing 239 sailors. A crewman's gruesome death. A young sailor was crushed by a watertight door in the engine room, his screams allegedly still heard today. Drowning in the pool. Several deaths occurred in the first-class swimming pool, including a woman named Jackie, who is said to haunt the area. These events have contributed to the ship's eerie atmosphere, with many believing the spirits of the deceased remain on board. The most haunted areas of the Queen. Mary 1. Cabin B340, the most notorious room. Cabin B340 is infamous for its violent paranormal activity. Originally a third-class cabin, it was sealed off for years due to disturbing reports. Reported phenomena. Guests waking up with unexplained scratches, the television and lights turning on by themselves, a dark figure appearing at the foot of the bed, sudden drops in temperature. Some believe the spirit is a murdered passenger or a crewman who took his own life. The room was briefly converted into storage, but reopened for brave guests seeking a supernatural encounter. 2. The first-class swimming pool. Despite being drained decades ago, the first-class pool area is a hotspot for ghostly sightings. The sound of splashing water when the pool is empty. Apparitions of a woman in 1930s swimwear. Wet footprints leading away from the pool. Many speculate that the spirit is Jackie, a young woman who drowned there. Others claim to see children playing, perhaps victims of the ship's wartime service. The engine room. The site of a crewman's horrific death. The engine room is a terrifying location after dark. The sound of metal grinding, as if the door is closing again. Shadowy figures darting between machinery. A phantom worker in overalls, still tending to the engines. Paranormal investigators often record EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, here, including whispers and pleas for help. 4. The Queen's Salon, former first-class lounge. Once a luxurious gathering place, the Queen's Salon now hosts spectral guests. The sound of a big band playing, despite no music being present. Glimpses of elegantly dressed figures from the 1930s. The scent of perfume and cigar smoke lingering in the air. Some believe these are residual hauntings, echoes of the ship's glamorous past replaying like a recording. 5. The Shaft Alley. A claustrophobic, dimly lit corridor deep within the ship, Shaft Alley is known for oppressive energy. A phantom crewman who paces the hallway, disembodied voices shouting orders, the feeling of being watched or followed. Many visitors refuse to enter this area alone, claiming it feels alive with something unseen. Famous ghosts of the Queen Mary I. The Lady in White. A frequent apparition, this elegant woman is often seen near the first-class areas. Some believe she was a passenger who died of a broken heart, while others think she perished during the war. 2. The Little Girl in the Nursery. A child's laughter and crying are heard near the former nursery. Some say she died during the ship's wartime service, while others think she was a passenger lost to illness. The Whistling Man. A shadowy figure is often seen and heard whistling in the lower decks. Crew members report hearing the tune just before something strange occurs. The Curacoa Sailors. The spirits of the HMS Curacoa sailors are said to roam the bow, reliving their final moments. Some guests report hearing screams during the early hours. The Queen Mary has been featured in numerous paranormal shows, including Ghost Adventures, 2008-2014, Most Haunted, 2005, The Dead Files, 2016. Investigators have captured EVPs, shadow figures, and even full-bodied apparitions. Many consider it one of the most haunted places in America. Staying overnight, a ghost. Hunter's experience. Guests can book haunted cabins, including B340, for an overnight stay. Those who dare often report unexplained knocking on doors. Objects moving on their own, the sensation of being touched by unseen hands. Some leave in the middle of the night, too terrified to stay. Others return, fascinated by the supernatural energy. Standing in the heart of Philadelphia, Eastern State Penitentiary is one of the most infamous haunted locations in the United States. Once a revolutionary model for prison reform, it became a house of suffering, madness, and death. Today, its crumbling cell blocks and shadowy corridors are said to be filled with the tormented spirits of former inmates. With reports of ghostly whispers, disembodied screams, and shadowy figures lurking in its decaying halls, Eastern State Penitentiary has earned its reputation as a paranormal nightmare. This article explores its dark history, the most haunted areas, and the terrifying encounters experienced by visitors and investigators alike. A brief history of Eastern State Penitentiary. The birth of solitary confinement. Opened in 1829, Eastern State Penitentiary was designed to reform criminals through strict isolation. Prisoners were kept in individual cells, forbidden from speaking, and forced to reflect on their sins. The system, known as the Pennsylvania system, was meant to encourage penitence, hence the term penitentiary. However, the extreme isolation drove many inmates to madness. Some gouged out their own eyes to escape the endless solitude, while others succumbed to disease and despair. Notorious inmates Eastern State housed some of America's most dangerous criminals, including the infamous gangster spent 8 months here in 1929, living in relative luxury compared to other inmates. His ghost is said to still occupy his cell. Pep the dog, a black Labrador allegedly sentenced to life for murder, though likely a publicity stunt. Some claim to hear phantom barks in the prison. Slick Willie Sutton, a master bank robber who escaped in 1945 through a tunnel. The prison closed in 1971 due to inhumane conditions and was left to decay. When preservationists took over in the 1980s, they discovered eerie remnants of the past. messages scratched into walls, rusted restraints, and an overwhelming sense of dread. Since then, countless visitors have reported unexplained phenomena, making Eastern State one of the most haunted places in America. The most haunted areas of Eastern State Penitentiary 1. Cell Block 12, the Shadow People. One of the most active paranormal hotspots, Cell Block 12 is known for dark figures darting between cells. Visitors report a tall shadow man who watches from the upper tiers. Disembodied laughter echoing through the empty halls. Sudden cold spots, even in summer. Some believe these are the trapped souls of inmates who died in their cells. 2. Al Capone's cell, Cell Block 8. Despite his short stay, Al Capone's presence lingers. His ghost has been seen sitting on his old bed, and visitors claim hearing 1930s jazz music playing faintly. The smell of cigar smoke in the air. A mysterious sobbing. Capone reportedly suffered from syphilis-induced dementia, crying uncontrollably in his final days. 3. The infamous death hole, solitary confinement. A tiny, pitch-black pit where the most rebellious prisoners were thrown. Many went insane or died inside. Today, visitors report voices begging for help from the darkness, hands scraping against the walls, an overwhelming sense of despair near the entrance. The hospital wing. A place of suffering where inmates endured brutal medical experiments. Paranormal activity includes surgical tools moving on their own, ghostly figures in hospital gowns wandering the halls, the sound of a gurney rolling, though none are present. 5. The chapel. Ironically, one of the most haunted spots in the prison. Reports include a ghostly priest standing at the pulpit, hymns sung by unseen voices, shadowy figures kneeling in prayer, famous ghosts of Eastern State Penitentiary 1. The crying prisoner. A sobbing man is often heard in Cell Block 6, believed to be an inmate who died of starvation after being forgotten in his cell. 2. The tormented screamer. A blood-curdling scream echoes through the halls, possibly from an inmate who went insane from isolation. 3. The guard with no face. A spectral figure in an old-fashioned uniform roams the towers, his face completely featureless. The shadow cat, a large black feline shape, darts through the prison. Some believe it was a prison mascot that still lingers. Paranormal investigations and TV appearances. Eastern State has been featured in numerous ghost hunting shows, including Ghost Adventures, 2009, 2019, Most Haunted, 2004, Scariest Places on Earth, 2000. Investigators have captured EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, full-bodied apparitions, and unexplained physical interactions. Visiting Eastern State Penitentiary today, the prison operates as a museum and offers historical tours, daytime Terror Behind the Walls haunted attraction in October, overnight paranormal investigations. Many visitors leave with scratches, bruises, or eerie photographs, proof that something still walks the halls. Rising ominously over the Lancashire countryside, Pendle Hill is one of Britain's most infamous locations for paranormal activity. Forever tied to the 1612 Pendle witch trials, where 10 people were executed for witchcraft, the hill and its surrounding villages are said to be haunted by the restless spirits of the accused. Locals and visitors alike report ghostly figures in ragged clothing, eerie chanting at night, and an oppressive sense of dread, especially near ancient landmarks linked to the witches. This article explores Pendle Hill's dark history, its most haunted sites, and the spine-chilling encounters that continue to terrify those who dare to venture there after dark. A brief history of the Pendle witches, the infamous witch trials of 1612. In 17th century England, fear of witchcraft was rampant. In Pendle, a feud between two rival families, the Demdikes and the Chaddixes, led to accusations of sorcery, murder, and dealings with the devil. Key figures included Elizabeth Southerns, Old Demdike, the matriarch of the Demdike family, accused of witchcraft and dying in prison. Anne Whittle, Old Chaddocks, the rival family's leader, hanged for witchcraft. Alison Device, a young girl whose encounter with a peddler sparked the trials after she allegedly cursed him. Janet Device, the 9-year-old whose testimony condemned her own family. 10 people were hanged at Lancaster Castle on the 20th of August, 1612, making it one of Britain's most notorious witch trials. The Witchcraft Act and Superstition. The trials were fueled by King James III's obsession with witchcraft, leading to brutal interrogations and forced confessions. Many witches were likely herbal healers or outcasts, scapegoated for misfortunes like illness or crop failure. Their executions left a lasting mark on Pendle, with many believing their spirits never left. The most haunted sites on Pendle Hill. 1. Pendle Hill Summit. The hill itself is a hotspot for paranormal activity, particularly at night. Witnesses report shadowy figures moving across the slopes, disembodied whispering in an unknown language, sudden drops in temperature even in summer, strange lights flickering near the summit. Some believe these are the spirits of the witches, still gathering for their Sabbaths. 2. The Witch's Cottage, Malkin Tower Site. The Demdike family's home, Malkin Tower, was said to be the site of dark rituals. Though long demolished, visitors to its location report ghostly figures in tattered clothing watching from the trees, the sound of chanting at midnight, unexplained scratches appearing on visitors. 3rd Street. Mary's Church, New Church. The village churchyard holds the grave of Alice Nutter, one of the accused witches. Strange occurrences here include a woman in 17th century dress kneeling by Alice's grave, handprints appearing on gravestones with no explanation, the sound of weeping near the church walls, the Pendle Witch Memorial, Lancaster Castle. Where the witches were imprisoned before execution, visitors report cold spots in the cells where they were held, phantom cries of despair. The ghost of Janet Device said to wander the castle, forever haunted by her betrayal. 5. The Devil's Footprint, near Borley Village. A rock formation where legend says the devil left his mark after meeting the witches. Locals claim sulphurous smells lingering in the air, unseen hands pushing people near the stone, voices mocking visitors from the darkness. Famous ghosts of Pendle Hill. 1. The Grey Lady, Old Demdike. The spirit of Elizabeth Southerns is often seen near Malkin Tower's ruins, her hollow eyes watching passers-by. 2. The Crying Child, Janet Device. A spectral girl sobs near Lancaster Castle, her betrayal condemning her to eternal guilt. 3. The Hooded Figure, Old Chaddocks. A hunched, shadowy form stalks the hillside, muttering curses under its breath. The Black Dog, Familiar Spirit. A demonic hound with glowing red eyes is said to guard the witches' meeting places, paranormal investigations, and modern sightings. Pendle Hill has been featured in numerous paranormal investigations, including Most Haunted, 2004-2011, reported disembodied screams and moving objects. Ghost Adventures, 2018, captured EVPs of whispering voices. Local ghost hunters often record phantom footsteps, cold spots, and shadow figures. Visiting Pendle Hill. Today, for those brave enough to explore, key locations include Pendle Hill walking trails, daytime hikes recommended, Lancaster Castle, witch trial exhibitions, New Church Village, Alice Nutter's grave, organized ghost hunts, overnight vigils. Many visitors leave with unexplained scratches, eerie photos, or the feeling of being followed. Nestled in the misty bayous of St. Francisville, Louisiana, the Myrtles Plantation is widely regarded as one of the most haunted houses in America. Built in 1796, this antebellum estate is said to be home to at least 12 restless spirits, with reports of ghostly apparitions, phantom footsteps, and even violent supernatural encounters. From its dark history of murder, slavery, and tragedy, the Myrtles has earned a reputation as a hotbed of paranormal activity. Guests, staff, and paranormal investigators have all experienced its eerie phenomena, some leaving in terror, others forever fascinated by its mysteries. This article delves into the plantation's chilling past, its most famous ghosts, and the bone-chilling encounters that continue to plague those who step inside. A dark history of the Myrtles Plantation. The plantation's blood-stained beginnings, built by General David Bradford in 1796, the Myrtles was originally named Laurel Grove, before being passed down to his son-in-law, Judge Clark Woodruff. The estate thrived as a cotton plantation, but beneath its grandeur lay brutality and suffering. Like many southern plantations, it was built on the backs of enslaved people. The legend of Chloe, the murderous ghost. The most infamous ghost at the Myrtles is Chloe, an enslaved woman who, according to legend, was either the mistress or house servant of Judge Woodruff. Stories claim she was caught eavesdropping and had her ear severed as punishment. Seeking revenge, she allegedly poisoned a birthday cake, killing Woodruff's wife and 2 daughters. However, historical records show no proof of this event, leading some to believe Chloe's story is a myth. Yet, countless visitors report seeing her veiled apparition lingering near the house, particularly in the Chloe's room, now a guest bedroom. Other tragic deaths. William Winter, 1871. A lawyer who was shot on the porch by a stranger. His ghost is said to pace the hallway, counting his final steps. The children. Several young spirits are seen and heard, including a girl who drowned in the nearby river. Enslaved victims. Unexplained shadows and whispers suggest the spirits of those who suffered on the plantation still linger. The most haunted areas of the Myrtles. 1. The Mirror of Death, Grande Dame Room. One of the most terrifying features of the Myrtles is a haunted mirror in the main house. Legend says it once reflected the murder of 2 girls, trapping their spirits inside. Visitors report handprints appearing on the glass, faces materializing in the reflection. A woman's scream coming from the mirror. 2. Chloe's room. The bedroom where Chloe allegedly slept and later died is a paranormal hotspot. Guests who stay here report a veiled woman sitting on the bed, cold spots near the fireplace, being touched or choked in their sleep. 3. The staircase, where William Winter died. The ghost of William Winter is often seen climbing the stairs only to vanish. Witnesses describe heavy footsteps when no one is there, a man in period clothing collapsing at the 17th step, bloodstains reappearing on the floor, the piano room. A phantom pianist is said to play 19th century melodies late at night. Staff have reported keys moving on their own, ghostly singing accompanying the music. A woman in white watching from the corner. 5. The courtyard and slave quarters. Shadow figures and whispers plague the grounds where enslaved people once lived. Paranormal activity includes disembodied crying, apparitions in chains, the smell of smoke, possibly from long extinguished fires, famous ghosts of the Myrtles Plantation one. Chloe, the Veiled Woman. The most frequently seen spirit, often peering into windows or standing at the foot of beds. 2. William Winter, the murdered lawyer. His ghost reenacts his death, clutching his chest as if shot. 3. The children, playful, yet eerie. Giggles and tiny footprints appear, but some guests report being pushed by unseen hands. The Lady in White. A sorrowful woman believed to be Sarah Woodruff, mourning her lost children.